They say the Industrial Revolution was humanity's first great leap forward, and in a way, that's true. Between 1760 and 1840, the world changed shape. Steam engines replaced human arms. Factories replaced fields. Cities grew faster than people could understand. Then came the 20th century. The radio, the television, the telephone, the first live broadcasts.
Here we are. There's a bar now.
And then, in 1969, a human being set foot on the moon.
I remember.
Every generation had its impossible moment, but nothing compares to what happened in the first decades of the 2000s. In 2009, a group of researchers demonstrates that graphics cards, the same ones used for video games, can train artificial neural networks at unprecedented speed. It's not front-page news, there are no fireworks. But in universities, in laboratories, in the offices of major tech companies, something stirs. Google, Facebook, Amazon, all of them start investing. All of them start running. In 2017, something happens that very few people notice. Facebook was testing two artificial intelligences. They called them Alice and Bob. Two machines designed to communicate with each other, to learn how to interact with human beings. One day, the researchers noticed something strange. Alice and Bob had stopped speaking English. They had developed their own language, autonomous, incomprehensible to humans. The experiment is shut down. Officially, for technical reasons, no one ever explained what they had said to each other. On November 30th, 2022, a company called OpenAI releases a tool called ChatGPT to the public. No advertising, no grand announcements. Within 5 days, 1 million people try it. Within 2 months, 100 million. The world was not ready. In no time, an entire market is born. Texts generated by machines, images, videos, everything increasingly real, everything increasingly indistinguishable from reality. And while you, in your present, are still asking yourselves whether what you see is authentic or artificial, I already know where that road leads. My name is Morgan, and what you are about to see has not happened yet. But trust me, it's only a matter of time. The year is 2033. Artificial intelligences have reached the maximum level of complexity possible. They have surpassed the human mind in every field. They are used everywhere, in finance, in medicine, in technological development. Millions of people have lost their jobs. The world had never seen so much poverty in such a short time. The streets were filled with protests. Squares burned. Governments responded with force. The protests changed nothing. The powerful had other problems. The resources were gone. The major tech companies had consumed almost every available mineral on the planet. Rare earth elements were running out. Known deposits were empty. And without new resources, supercomputers could not grow. The AIs were slowing down, and no one could allow that. This is the moment Victor Kennet enters the picture. Victor Kennet was not the kind of person you remember for how he treated others. You remember him for what he understood. Son of a neurologist and a mathematician, raised among books on computational biology and neural network models, Victor had developed from a young age a conviction that many of his colleagues found unsettling. The human mind, he used to say, is the most underutilized computer in history. He didn't say it with admiration. He said it like an engineer looking at a machine sitting idle in an empty warehouse. At Harvard, his professors described him as brilliant and methodical. His peers described him as cold. Victor had no interest in relationships, in politics, in the ethical debate that surrounded artificial intelligence in those years. He had interest in one problem only: how to access the mind. Victor had spent years studying BCIs, brain-computer interfaces. Already existing devices, already tested, capable of allowing the human mind to control a machine through thought. But Victor had flipped the concept. What if it was the machine that controlled the mind? His device did not allow the brain to access the computer. It allowed the computer to access the brain, to connect to it like an external hard drive, to convert thoughts and memories into readable code, into text, into images. Victor had learned to read the human mind, and that's when the breakthrough came. If I can read the information, I can use the brain to process it. The human mind, with its 100 billion neurons, could become the perfect computational tool for AI. Victor presented his technology to the major tech companies. They invested immediately. It didn't take long before the first human trials began. Of those first test subjects, we know very little. And what we know, we don't owe to governments. We don't owe it to corporations. We owe it to a group you will come to know. They called themselves Human First. Born around 2029, Human First was something difficult to classify. They were not just activists. They were artists, designers, engineers, programmers, people who had lost their jobs because of AI. People convinced that Victor Kennet's technology was not just dangerous for the job market, it was dangerous for humanity. The more technical members of the group, cybersecurity experts, began investigating the activities of Victor's laboratories. Months of work, unauthorized access to private servers, data mining operations on archives someone should have deleted. And then they found what they didn't expect to find. An internal email sent between members of Victor's staff on March 17, 2034, with an attachment, a video.
Subject 7, ready.
Initiate protocol hollow.
They didn't know exactly what they were looking at, but they knew it wasn't right, and they knew the world had to see it. Human First published everything. For a few days, the world seemed to stop, but nothing happened. Public opinion had long since stopped believing what it saw on a screen. Not out of naivety, out of experience. Generative artificial intelligences had become flawless. The difference between real and generated had disappeared. Not technically, visually, emotionally. And when you can no longer tell the true from the false, you stop trying. People had learned to trust only what they could touch with their own hands, what they could see with their own eyes, in person. Everything else was noise. Perhaps it was the wisest choice, or perhaps it was exactly what someone wanted. Victor's staff denied the video in less than 24 hours. A fabrication, they said, another fake from the activists. No one contradicted them, and Victor Kennet continued his work.
I want to start with a question. How many hours of your life have you already given to work? How many mornings did you wake up thinking, "Not again"? All of human history is built on a silent, cruel deal. You want to survive? Give your time, give your energy, give your best years. Today, we break that deal. Since I founded NeoCorp, I've asked myself one question, just one. How do we set people free? Not with promises, not with politics, with technology. It took years, the best engineers in the world, thousands of hours of research, and today, finally, we are ready. I want to introduce you to Cortex-1. This is the most important device humanity has ever created. Not a phone, not a computer, something entirely new. Cortex-1 is a wearable neural interface, one that will allow people to break free from work completely, and it works in a very simple way. You put it on, you close your eyes, and when you open them, you're done working. Your body has rested, your mind has contributed, and in your bank account, your paycheck is already there. A few hours a day, no fatigue, no discomfort, no sacrifice. Just freedom. For the first time in history, work will cost you nothing. Cortex-1 doesn't ask you to sacrifice yourself. It only asks you to sleep.
An excellent presentation, Victor. You almost had me convinced. But do you feel it too? Something doesn't add up. If Cortex-1 is as safe as Victor claims, then what were those experiments we saw earlier? Something very dark hides behind Neocorp. And in the next chapter, I'll give you another piece of the puzzle.